All right, welcome back. We are about to install Vulnerability Manager. This particular Vulnerability Manager is something that unfortunately is only going to be available to my students because on the OpenVAS page, let me just show you here, there are VMs. Where are we at? Goodness, these people here. There's VMs to run OpenVAS. Where are they going to be? The test now. To be a default, we need to accept some cookies here. I need to scroll down here. We don't want B basic. Where's the green bone free is what we want. So we go to free download. Let me just show you what's going on here. Green bone free. Oh, it doesn't even have it here. You can probably, oh, look at that. Maybe it does work here. Oh no, this is VMware. Jeez, what am I thinking here? There's not there is not a Hyper-V version. So I created one for my students and it probably won't work for you. So I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna open, this is my student thing again. If you're gonna run it in a VM, you can run it in VirtualBox or something else. I am doing this. Hopefully I got that password right. I'll probably have to check my identity. This is all fine stuff. So I'm connecting here because I want to just be able to follow the link. Well, oddly enough, I can, the way this VM is set up, I can actually click to it before. So I'm clicking into here. I'm going into our assignment. This is, of course, vulnerability scanning. And I'm going to click, I'm going to scroll down here, and I need this file. So I click here. Let's just do it in a new window. This is a pretty big file. Looks like I need to log into there too. Should just log me in a second. I need to download this. I'm going to download it. Too large to scan. It's decent size. And while this is downloading, let me just note, it's possible to install OpenVAS in Kali Linux. When I do it though, it just like fully pegs the CPU usage and it won't let me connect to the web browser. So I'm doing this even though this will take up a lot of disk space, but I need the, anyway, I have to do it this way. So OpenVAS here, this ends up being, I'm going to extract it. I'm going to extract it to a different location because I want it extracted and I'm going to put it into, should we put it in? We don't want it there. I'm going to extract it to the documents folder. And remember, if you remember doing Kali there, we're going to put OpenVAS in there too. The reason why is this is going to be like the disk will be standing there and I'm going to use it from there. So I should have extracted it now. I'm going to go to documents and double check and it is there. While I'm here, I'm going to delete this. I am going to run out of space, so just keep this in mind. Oops, why is that open in the opens? Oh, we're waiting for it to download. Give it a minute. My goodness, why am I being so impatient? So again, we got to be very careful pretty much from here on out. I'm going to scoot this over and just kind of highlight how like we're getting like super close on disk space. So this extraction should work okay. But you know, this is, like I said, this is tough. So once I finish this, again, this is pretty much just an exercise for my students. Once you finish this, you kind of want to make sure you clean up your disk space. And maybe even before this. So it may be that you couldn't even do it before, but I'm gonna wait for this to finish extracting before I do anything extra. Cross my fingers that 5.91 gigabytes free is good enough. I wonder what is that full thing? Yeah, I do not like that. I can have set length for output file. Right, there's not enough space. Yep. Okay, so that's a bad sign. All right, we're gonna have to look for, I'm gonna close this, and we're gonna find some disk space. So the main place to look for it is in my virtual hard disks. I'm gonna go into C:\program data. I believe it's in Microsoft. It's Windows, virtual hard disks. And there's nothing here that's sort of extra. So that's actually a problem. I'm gonna double check in my downloads folder, and I can start thinking about deleting stuff. One of the things I can delete is this Windows Server. Notice I need to leave my OpenVAS here. I'm gonna delete this one. This Netgate installer was my pfSense installer, so I'm gonna hit delete here. My Windows Server, I'm done with because I already did my recovery exercise, so I'm going to delete that. Let's try again here. This is a problem. If it does this on you, what that means is in here, you need to eject the DVG drive because that means it's in use. I'm going to do that. So again, I went to media. If there was a disk showing here, I clicked eject on it, and I'm going to try again. That's good, so that's gonna delete. While this is working, I'm gonna go over to, why is that coming up so badly? Let's scoot this out of the way, and I'm gonna empty the recycle bin. And I'm gonna go back into here. We're gonna just check our size again. It's not much better. I am not happy about that. We're going to check our documents. That was this OpenVAS. I wonder how much that space that is. Anything go in here? I hate that it does that twice. That is the full version. I'm going to delete that before I try to extract again. It actually probably worked, but I'm going to delete this. And then we're going to check our space again. 21.4 gigabytes free. So here I am, I'm like reducing and reducing sizes, okay? Documents now only has Kali in there, and that should stay because I'm gonna need that later. Here's my OpenVAS. I'm gonna extract it. I'm gonna extract files. It's gonna go to the documents folder. And one of the odd things about it is I actually don't have to put OpenVAS here, but I'm going to go, well, okay. All right, so moving it to documents. And this will hopefully work. Trying to save lots of space. Those of you that are interneters that are watching this, if you want to try to do this on your own, what I ended up having to do is I downloaded, I believe it was the VirtualBox version, and there's a conversion tool in VirtualBox that you can convert a virtual disk to a Hyper-V, and then I exported the Hyper-V VM, and this is what my students are using. This is an older version of it though, which doesn't really matter. In the end, because it looks the same. All right, so far so good. It didn't give me the warning about disk space, so I'm feeling good about that. One of the things, sort of the high-end thing I might end up doing is, let me just show you. We already set up in our recovered server, we used our backup disk. I'm just doing the settings on the recovered server when it comes up. And if I'm really, really running out of space, I may remove this backups hard disk because it's pretty big. That's a pretty big file there. And again, if I'm really like needing to, I might take that out. But that's sort of a last resort. All right, let's go back in here. Funny, having done that, it means my, so that finished while we were blinking by. I'm gonna double check OpenVAS is in there. And this looks good. Okay, it's all in there and we're looking good. So I'm gonna go to downloads and I'm actually just gonna right click and delete this. And I have to recycle it because really, like I said, we're at the point where every like little bit counts in terms of space. So we're checking our space here. It's, you know, like we're in the red here. So this is stuff. We may just double check here. Like I don't have much in there. www root folder. I don't think I have any big files in there. And the quarantine. This is probably okay. Those are pretty small. Okay, so I'm closing out my file manager. Now what I need to do is go back to my Hyper-V manager, which is here, and I need to import a virtual machine. Like I said, I set this up for my students. Those of you that aren't my students can't do this. So I'm going to locate the folder. I'm going to browse to it. This again has to be the unzipped version that I just downloaded to documents. So I'm going into OpenVAS. I have to double click it twice, it looks like. Here I hit select folder, and then I should be able to hit next. So notice here it says OpenVAS, OpenVAS. This is not a huge deal. I mean, I'm not exactly making the thing. The machine to import is OpenVAS. I hit next. It looks like everything's going okay according to my notes. I'm going to register it in place. Do not do this copy the virtual machine. Because, yeah, the disk needs to stay where it is. Let me just double check here. Register it in place. This is okay. The default locations for the files looks good. And I just hit finish. All right, now I can start it. So pfSense is already running. My Windows server's starting. I need to connect to OpenVAS, just like we normally do. I'm gonna start it. If you were in VirtualBox, this is what would happen. You start the machine, give it a minute. It has to boot up. This is just like a normal, I don't remember what the Linux distribution they're using here is. It's also kind of funny that the screen kind of uses a big screen, but that's okay. All right, so here it is. It says here the web interface is available at. What it means here is now there's a web browser running in this virtual machine, and this 10.1.0.102 is the address. So what that also means is the Greenbone machine has like gotten an automatic IP address from my Windows server or my like Azure machine. All right, but that's kind of neither here nor there. I'm going back into my whatever we call this thing, Edge, my other web browser. I don't need any of this other stuff, so I'm just going to drop out of it. I might leave my instructions open. Just so you know, we are on this part here. Note the web interface and IP address. That's right here. So I'm going to close this one here. I can just do this, and we'll do a new tab. And I'm going to type in here 10.1.0.102 and hit enter. Connection isn't private. That's because we're using the self-signed certificate. And I'm going to do hide or the advanced and hit continue unsafe. This is great. Now, if you're a student, you had access to this. If you were someone else, there will be a username and a password to log in. So this username that I'm using is that I set it up. CIS, make sure I'm doing properly. CIS capital ADMIN, and then it's CIS at, just copying that, ROOM 2015, and I hit sign in. All right. I don't need to save this. In fact, I'm going to hit never save. All right, so here's what it looks like in here. I'm still following the instructions here. Dashboard comes up. There's a thing marked here. What I need here is I'm going to do a scan. I want to do a vulnerability scan, so I hit scans and then I hit tasks. All right, no tasks available. That's fine. This is where you kind of realize that the company that runs this is German. And one of the things they're trying to do is make this so it works in any language. But what ends up happening is, like, they're trying to use, I'm expanding the window, sorry. What they're trying to do is use like fancy stuff. And so here, like, who would have thought this is new task? I mean, I don't know, maybe they should have put a plus sign there. Notice over here, this is edit. This ends up being edit over here, I think, but we'll get to that in a second. So we're going to do a new task. I want a new task, and the new task is a scan. Okay, I'm going to scan my Windows server. Okay, so right now, I'm just going to name this task. This will be name the task. I'm going to call this just scan Windows server. Okay. Now, in a minute, I'm going to show you that I'm actually going to do multiple scans here. When you're normally doing a vulnerability scan, you would just set this up and I would run it. I would have it run like every day or something, and I would get a new report, and then I would be able to check if a vulnerability has occurred. So generically speaking, I would do this scan Windows server, but this is fine. Okay, so we're going to go for this. We're going to click this button here next to new because I need to put in a target. I'll click new here. The target is going to be just Windows Server. And in here, I'm going to do a manual scan. It's possible, this is a pretty advanced thing. It's possible to do full ranges and a whole bunch of stuff here. I'm just doing one server at a time, because this actually takes a long time anyway. 192.168.1.2, this is the address of my Windows server. So here's my server, that's not my server. The server's in here running somewhere, there it is. That better be its IP address, okay? A little while back, I did a restore, and I changed the IP address, and I had to make sure I got it to the right IP address and make sure it's there. All right, so this is a new target, by the way. And then we are going to do this. We're going to hit save. This created a new target. Targets are under actually assets, and we'll maybe see that in a minute. We're going to hit save. Okay, scan Windows Server. That's my target. There's a couple of things in here. OpenVAS default is fine. Scan config full and fast is awesome too. This looks good. We're going to hit save. And now it appears in the task list. In order to get it to run, I have to hit start. So I'm going to hit start here. That's a decently obvious start. Notice here it says requested. This is going to take a while. So it very, very slowly changes. And just to note here, I may show it doing this. It's going to change from requested. It's going to change and say queued. Then it will say running. Then it will have %. My notes here say it takes 10 minutes or so, and then it's done. If it goes quickly, it means that you didn't do something right, okay? Typically, it means that the Windows server isn't responding to pings. So if you've disabled incoming pings, so right now it's going 0%. If it just runs through and it's sort of finished, basically the vulnerability scan has decided there's no one there. Mine is configured okay. Let me just show you really quickly how I know I've got my ping set up. It's because it should work. If I do a command prompt from my Azure machine and I ping 192.168.1.2, I should get a reply. So I'm getting replies here. It's not request timed out. That's the number one awesome thing. The number two awesome thing, I'm going to let this go at my percents, is I should be able to, I'm in my web browser, I can go here and go to 192.168.1.2. I don't need list albums or any of that other stuff. But this is like showing that I'm on that server. And if I also do HTTPS and // oops, I should be seeing that in with problem, like this stuff. And that's totally cool. I'm going to close this. I already closed the command prompt. And right now this is at 0%. Next time you hear from me, because I'm just going to edit this section out, it will be 99 or 100%. And one of the problems with like 98% is sometimes it takes a little while to get past that part too. So I'm waiting here. And so, like I said, there's going to be a gap because about 10 minutes will have passed. That I would show you some percent, but I had to go do something and now I'm back. So now we're at the place where it says the report's done. If I want to look at the report, I'm going to click here on the date. This is how I know the exact report has been done. And we're going to notice here. The main thing you want to notice is these two actually. Number one, the CVEs. This is the one that says there is something wrong, that something needs to be addressed. Closed CVEs is one where the vulnerability scanner is reporting basically that this CVE either doesn't apply or it's already been dealt with. So I'm going to stop this right here because I think we're okay. In a minute, we're going to go back and do another vulnerability scan. That's one of the things I can show you right here. I clicked on results, and if I go to the filter and hit X here to remove the filter, I'm going to get a big long string of things. And what we're going to see here, basically what we're going to do next is we're going to take our firewall and we're going to try to mitigate some of these issues. So that will be another video, which is basically we're going to show more about firewall configuration. It'll be still doing a vulnerability scan, but it'll continue this. But I'll see you then.